Hello good friends, Brian from Apex Detail. Today we're going to do a close review and teardown of the Torq 10FX polisher. Not the most powerful thing in the world, 8mm throw, but hey, another option and a decent way to get started. I hate wasting your time as much as mine, so let's get this video going. The Torq 10FX is a lightweight unit with a short throw, which makes it perfect for smaller jobs enhancements. You could put a smaller backing plate on here, a 3-inch backing plate. It has an 8mm throw, so it could fit in tight spots with either backing plate. The unit itself is around $173, depending on where you look. You can also get it in kits with pads and polishes. It has the UI here, and we'll take a look at that when we get to the closer look portion of the video. That is the digital user interface. Harmonious balance, that cuts down on noise, also cuts down on vibration. 700 watt, we'll take a look at the 700 watt motor. 6-speed, smooth startup, also enhanced molded grip, and safety support edge, so when you have a pad attached and you want to lay it down, flip it on its back and it will stay, it'll be stable so it doesn't tip one way or another, and you have to swap out your pad. For the closer look segment of the video, we'll start with the cord. This is a, run-of-the-mill cord, JST stamped, which stands for Junior Service. The thermoplastic on it will put up with 105 degrees Celsius. It's not really stiff. You can throw it up over your shoulders and not have have the cord fighting with you. It's just not top of the line. When it comes to the user interface, 6-speed with the on and off button. And if you're up to speed with it, and you have to turn it off for whatever reason, when you turn it back on, you're going to start at 0. 8mm throw, comes with a 5-inch backing plate. You can attach a 3-inch, make it a 3-inch polisher. It's actually perfect for a 3-inch polisher. Here we have the enhanced molded grip. We'll take a look at that when we get to the look inside segment. The safety support ridge here on the top, you could flip it over if you have a pad attached and it's nice and stable. It would take a lot to tip it one way or another, and you have to change out your pad. The housing is a high impact nylon housing stamped 30GF. That means glass fibers at 30%. It makes a pretty sturdy little unit here. You could drop it, run over it, whatever, and it's going to stay together for you. The overall length of the unit is 15.5 inches from the tip of the grip back to the cord. The overall width of the unit is 79.6 mils. Height from the base of the backing plate to the top of the polisher, 132 mils. Again, the cord is 10 foot long. And when it comes to the UI or user interface, here we have the power switch, speed buttons. The speed buttons themselves do not have very impressive tactile feedback. However, the readout here will let you know what speed you're in. Soft start, and again, 6-speed. And when you shut the unit down and power it back up, you're starting at 0. Overall weight of the unit, just under 5.5 pounds. A lightweight unit, easy on the shoulders, and you could use it for long periods of time. When it comes to the backing plate, your run-of-the-mill 14mm gets inserted right here at this slot. And that removes the backing plate to reveal the machine balance with 2 Phillips head pan head screws. You can easily install a 3-inch backing plate . Grab your favorite 3-inch pads, and it makes an excellent 3-inch polisher. You can see just how narrow that is, not any wider than your fist. What I really do enjoy seeing here are the CHL sealed bearings. And this doesn't allow dirt or dust or any fine particles to get in there and cause premature wear and tear. Okay, to remove the enhanced molded grip, we have 2 Allen bolts here. We're going to have washers and bolts, so grab your magnetic tray and they will not roll away on you and escape you. So we have those out. We can simply just pull this away. Right there is the lock. Press that down, spin those off. And since it is time for a tune-up and to replace the grease, repack the grease in the gears, I'll show you how to get to that. So first, hold in the lock pin. Then you'll counterclockwise spin the machine counter. This will unthread the counterweight and the nut where you attach the backing plate to it, and that comes right out from there. Then we have 3 Phillips head screws right in the inside. That will allow us to remove the shroud, and we can get to the 4 screws here and get to the gears themselves. These here are T20s, but they're cupped. If I can get this to focus, you can see right there we have the indentation, and that will get us in to take these out. Now we remove the nylon plastic spacer and we can get to the gearbox itself, and we're going to slowly remove that. And just like any other polisher, that reveals the spindle gear and the pinion gear, and we're going to get this crap grease out of here. We'll use 266 to clean it out and pack it with the good stuff. Okay, next up, with that same T20, we're going to remove these 4 screws, separate the gearbox completely, and get to the motor and rotor. With those removed, we can slowly pull out the rotor. All right, what we find here first is the fan, multi-directional, keeps everything nice and cool in there. The laminates here, everything is in good shape. The winding is dipped, as you can see that shiny resin right there. Dipped down here as well, and also epoxy keeping everything nice and tight and balanced. And here we have the sealed bearing. Great sign. So everything is nice and quality and clean and tight in here. And we're ready to get it back together and get this thing working. And we'll take a look at the brains end of the polisher, so to speak. To get this side open, we have 5 T20s, just like on the other end. I'm going to remove all those and crack this open. With those screws out, we're going to carefully pull the casing off. That reveals the PCB, the wiring, the stamped coil holder for the carbon brushes, and also the digital user interface right here. The PCB is an E199. It is laminated, but it is not set in epoxy. So there's a little bit of protection there, sort of to guard it from moisture and dust. But I like to see when these are countersunk in epoxy, and then they really do have some decent protection. But we do have the stamped copper holders for the carbon brushes on each side, and that's how you swap them out. Just releasing this coil spring here, that takes tension off the carbon brushes. Pull them up, and they're plugged in on either side. Right here, these are crimped spade connectors. However, they don't have the heat shrink or the shrink wrap on them that other polishers do. So the two things that I see here are drawbacks. The non-epoxied PCB that's laminated instead, and also no heat wrap or heat shrink around the spade connectors. Other than that, the wire connectors, the wire management is rather nice and tight. One thing that is of concern, a little bit of rubbing from the vibration, the casing of the wiring against the casing of the polisher itself. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I may try to move it a little bit, rearrange the wiring. Okay, let's get this back together and I'll show you different ways you can use the polisher. Alright, we have everything back together, and since we have the 3-inch backing plate, we'll attach a pad and we'll demonstrate just real quick here. And then we'll put the 5-inch backing plate, we'll demonstrate there, and then some other uses you can definitely put it to work for. As you can see here, very effective as a 3-inch polisher. Very effective with the 5-inch backing plate as well. And for the final thought segment of the video, the Torq 10FX polisher. I did show you some of the improvements I would like to see during the teardown segment, but all in all, it's an okay polisher to grab if you want to do, if you want to get into detailing a little bit further beyond just basic cleanings, to do enhancements, or to take care of your own car. It will get a one-step done, but anything further than that, you will need to step up into something a little bit more powerful. It's also a great tool to clean and scrub upholstery and interiors. Rather than having the rotary spinning and just tearing the fibers up, this just does a gentle agitation, and then you can go from there. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Brian from Apex Detail. I'll catch you in the next video.